You're listening to the Dead Presidents Podcast.
And this is the top 5 presidential adulterers.
5, we're about to take a dive. 4, in the presidential lore. 3, who will the top 5 be? 2, we're about to tell you. 1, the show's now begun.
Welcome to the Dead Presidents Podcast. I am James J. Hamilton.
And I'm Stephen Lincoln Douglas.
Got a great top 5 this week. We're going presidential adulterers.
We're going from the biggest drinkers to the biggest ravishers.
Titillating.
Yes, it is titillating.
Let's dive right into the top 5.
Why don't we dive in
presidential
to the
adulterers.
top 5 presidential adulterers.
Number 5.
FDR.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt. He's getting a little bit busy on the side. Married to Eleanor, his 5th cousin. He started having an affair with Lucy Mercer, who was Eleanor's social secretary.
The convenience.
Yep. 1918, FDR was coming back from visiting the front in Europe as Assistant Secretary to the Navy when Eleanor unpacked his bags and found love letters between him and Lucy Mercer. So FDR almost got divorced. Eleanor was on the verge of divorcing him. She didn't want her children to suffer the disgrace of a broken home. Went to FDR's mother, and she threatened to cut off his inheritance if he didn't break up the affair.
Tight mind.
So
But there's one logical decision to make. And, you know, gotta try and move on.
yeah, preserved appearances, preserved his political career. That would have ruined his political career if he got divorced.
Sure.
But they stayed together for the children, for the career. But their marriage was never the same. They slept in separate beds. They probably didn't have any more sexual relationship with each other. But that didn't stop both of them
Wow.
from getting it elsewhere.
Some light at the end of the tunnel.
During the White House years, they were sleeping in separate bedrooms, but they both had their own side pieces living in the White House. Eleanor having an affair with another woman.
Awesome.
Lorena Hickok, who's a reporter who became her close friend.
Great forerunner for the LGBTQ community. Respect.
Yeah, historians seem to tend towards believing that they did have a sexual relationship. Apparently, J. Edgar Hoover, the FBI director, may have maintained a file of incriminating evidence of the First Lady with another lady.
Was there audio files? They
I
bugged.
don't know.
He probably J. Edgar Hoover was probably like wearing his dress and
Yep.
listening to
Getting off on
Eleanor
that.
and Lorena. You know, as Hoover probably himself would have put it, like, listen out.
Yeah.
Hey, come here. I got this great recording.
FDR was keeping busy himself. Despite being crippled by polio, there was at least one part below the waist that was still working.
Yeah.
Because he found another secretary, Missy LeHand, who was his secretary. He had a long-term affair with her.
He just keeps ending up with attractive secretaries.
Coincidence?
I guess so.
I don't know. She was like his substitute wife, just living in the White House, doing the job Eleanor didn't care to do anymore.
Wow.
She died in 1944. Coincidentally, that was the same year Lucy Mercer's husband died, so FDR could pick back up with that
Okay, was
affair.
that coincidence? Or
I don't
was it
know.
murder?
Lucy Mercer was with FDR when he died, but she was spirited away from the premises before Eleanor arrived.
Now, I don't know. There's something fishy about those deaths.
Yeah?
FDR had some pull. I don't know. That's fishy in my mind. I suspect murder most foul. Murder in the name of lust.
That's the dark side.
That's something else.
It's the dark side of the FDR presidency.
Yeah. Wild. And that brings us to
Number 4.
Donald Trump. Trump's first marriage to Ivana Trump imploded on the covers of New York's tabloids after he brazenly took his mistress, Marla Maples, on a family vacation in Aspen, along with his wife, and attempted to hide her away until she approached Ivana and said, "I'm Marla, and I love your husband. Do you?" A famous issue of the New York Post in 1990, while he was still married to Ivana, quoted Maples on the front page saying Trump was, quote, "the best sex I ever had." He divorced from Ivana in 1991 and was married to Maples from 93 to 97. I'm not sure why I gave her a slightly English accent. I don't know. He's a dumb American broad. In 98, he met Melania, and they were married in 2005. In 2006, she gave birth to their son Barron. Around that time, Trump was allegedly having a year-long affair with Playboy model Karen McDougal. Around the same time, he allegedly had an affair with the porn star Stormy Daniels. In her book, she describes Trump's penis as smaller than average, but not freakishly small. Quote, "He knows he has an unusual penis. It has a huge mushroom head, like a toadstool. I lay there, annoyed that I was getting fucked by a guy with Yeti pubes and a dick like the mushroom character in Mario Kart. It may have been the least impressive sex I've ever had, but clearly he didn't share that opinion." In October 2016, Trump's lawyer, Michael Cohen, allegedly paid Daniels $130,000 to sign a non-disclosure agreement about the affair. Wow.
A lot of alleged extramarital shenanigans going on.
Yeah, some real alleged stuff going on there. Moving on. It's time for Presidential Adulterer number 3.
Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton, he kept busy during his years as governor of Arkansas, but not with his wife.
With the voters?
Yeah. He had many supporters.
Yeah.
An Arkansas state trooper recalled an argument in which Hillary yelled at Bill, "I need to be fucked more than twice a year."
Ouch.
Bill was definitely getting it more often than that. A different Arkansas state trooper said that he was responsible for personally contacting hundreds of women to have sex with Clinton.
Wow.
In the 92 campaign, Jennifer Flowers said she had a 12-year affair with Clinton. He admitted under oath that he did have sex with her. 2 former Miss Arkansas winners claimed to have had sex with him. A lawyer named Dolly Kyle swore under oath that she had a decade-long affair with him.
Guy is keeping busy.
He likely had an affair with Susan McDougal, who was involved in the Whitewater scandal and spent time in prison for contempt for refusing to testify against him. Paula Jones sued him for sexual harassment, alleging that when he was governor and she was a state employee, he brought her up to his hotel room to meet him.
Oh, well, that must have been about the campaign, about business.
He pulled his pants down and exposed himself and asked her to kiss it.
Oh, that kind of business.
She said he was saying it in a very disgusting way, just a horny-ass way that scared me to death.
Yikes.
As president, Clinton had sexual encounters with Monica Lewinsky, White House intern. These have been thoroughly documented by the Ken Starr report. We're going to go right to the source.
And just a brief disclaimer, this next part is going to get lewd. Just filthy. So, make sure the dog's outside.
According to Miss Lewinsky, she and the president kissed. She unbuttoned her jacket. Either she unhooked her bra or he lifted her bra up, and he touched her breasts with his hands and mouth. Miss Lewinsky testified.
He put his hand down my pants and stimulated me manually in the genital area.
While the president continued talking on the phone, Miss Lewinsky understood that the caller was a member of Congress or a senator. She performed oral sex on him. He finished his call and a moment later told Miss Lewinsky to stop. In her recollection,
I told him that I wanted to complete that. And he said that he needed to wait until he trusted me more.
There were many more encounters and blowjobs, and then he told her that it had to stop, then it started up again. On one occasion, according to Miss Lewinsky,
He focused on me pretty exclusively.
kissing her bare breasts and fondling her genitals. At one point, the president inserted a cigar into Miss Lewinsky's vagina, then put the cigar in his mouth and said,
It tastes good.
Another encounter.
And I continued to perform oral sex, and then he pushed me away, kind of as he always did before he came. And then I stood up and I said, I care about you so much. I don't understand why you won't let me make you come. It's so important to me. And he didn't want me to get addicted to him. He didn't want to get addicted to me.
And then he said,
I don't want to disappoint you.
and the president consented. For the first time, she performed oral sex through completion. When Miss Lewinsky next took her navy blue Gap dress from her closet to wear it, she noticed stains near one hip and on the chest. FBI laboratory tests revealed that the stains are the president's semen.
Busted.
That's
Boom,
it.
boom, boom, boom. But that brings us to top 5 presidential adulterer,
Number 2.
Warren Gamaliel Harding. Harding once said to reporters, quote, "It's a good thing I'm not a woman. I would always be pregnant. I can't say no." A biographer of First Lady Florence Harding, who was a cold, calculating shrew of a woman, accounted for 7 mistresses. He allegedly contracted gonorrhea from an Ohio prostitute. While he was courting his future wife, he allegedly knocked up her next-door neighbor, Susan McWilliams. He also allegedly impregnated another woman, Augusta Cole, and may have forced her to get an abortion and had her committed to a mental institution. Holy shit.
Covering the tracks.
While he was a senator, he banged campaign volunteer Nan Britton and impregnated her in the Senate office building. She gave birth to his daughter, and he allegedly sent her money while he was president. After his death, she spent years trying to get a piece of his estate and published a book called The President's Daughter. She claimed that he banged her in a White House closet and that Secret Service agents helped conceal the affair from the First Lady. The supposed love of Harding's life was not the First Lady, but Carrie Phillips, his friend's wife with whom he had a 15-year affair. 1,000 pages of their erotic correspondence was released by the Library of Congress, and
Oh, yeah?
thank God that it was, because this is so just unbelievably entertaining. Just look at a picture of Warren Harding. Picture that man, the President of the United States, as you hear the following. He nicknamed his penis Jerry and referred to her vagina as Seashell. Just a couple of highlights. Quote, "Jerry is standing up beside me while I write you. Wish I could take you to Mount Jerry. Wonderful spot. Jerry sends Christmas greetings. He would come, too, if I might. Would he be welcomed cordially? Honestly, I hurt with the insatiate longing until I feel that there will never be any relief until I bury my face on your billowing breasts. I want you, and I wanted to feast my eyes to intoxicate them in glorious breasts and matchless curves and exquisite shapeliness, and I wanted to fondle and feel of beauty and superbness the, oh, Warren! Oh, Warren! When your body quivers with divine paroxysm and your soul hovers for flight with mine." Crazy.
Wow.
Crazy shit. The First Lady wrote,
Most of the pain in this world is located in the hearts of women. Maybe women are forced into mute acceptance of disloyalty, faithlessness, and humiliation because this is, after all, a man's world.
Certainly Warren's world.
He
He and Jerry got and took whatever they wanted.
he really did his own thing. And speaking of doing your own thing, let's get to the number 1 top 5 presidential adulterer.
John F. Kennedy.
And this is no secret.
Yep.
A man addicted to sex.
He said to an aide.
I guess I just can't help it. If I don't have sex every day, I get a headache.
He admitted to a U.S. ambassador.
I can't get to sleep unless I've had a lay.
JFK once said of his own father.
Dad told all the boys to get laid as often as possible.
JFK nicknamed his penis JJ.
Ah, another presidential penis nickname.
After he underwent circumcision at age 21, he wrote to a friend that JJ has never been in better shape or doing better service. The New York Times wrote that JFK didn't have to lift a finger to attract women. They were drawn to him in battalions.
Battalions is a lot.
Yep. Well, when you're the president.
Yeah.
A White House staffer said there was a conspiracy of silence to protect his secrets from Jacqueline and to keep her from finding out. The newspapers would tell how the First Lady was off on another trip, but what they didn't report was how anxious the president sometimes was to see her go. After JFK would sip daiquiris and take naked swims with beautiful women, a cleanup crew swept in to remove any leftover jewelry, hairpins, or underwear. Jackie knew about the love affairs of her husband. She accepted them since she knew he would always come back to her. It was common among men of the elite to have extramarital affairs. Jackie's own father was a known womanizer. JFK would spend weekends at Frank Sinatra's place in Palm Springs. He frequented the Sands Hotel in Vegas and Peter Lawford's place in Santa Monica. Peter Lawford once said,
I'm not proud of this. All I will say is that I was Frank's pimp and Frank was Jack's. It sounds terrible now, but it was a lot of fun.
Indeed. JFK seduced a 19-year-old White House intern and took her virginity in the bed he shared with his wife. He skinny dipped in the White House pool with interns nicknamed Fiddle and Faddle. Once gave amyl nitrate to one of them who had a panic attack.
Okay, isn't that what, like, Dennis Hopper was doing in Blue Velvet?
Probably. Yeah, I think so, yeah. That's our president.
You're like me.
At one point, Jackie was giving a White House tour to a French journalist. When the intern passed them, she remarked, "This is the girl who supposedly is sleeping with my husband." Another time, JFK was with two women at the same time and smoked 3 joints. He declined a 4th joint, saying,
Suppose the Russians did something right now.
Gotta be on your toes. Ellen Romecht was an alleged high-class call girl and alleged East German spy who had alleged relations with high-ranking government officials, including JFK, with whom she dined at the White House on many occasions. She was investigated by the FBI, and Bobby Kennedy had her deported, allegedly to cover up the affair. Not only that, JFK banged Marlene Dietrich, who had had an affair with his father.
Holy shit.
She said that JFK was so quick she could barely remember it. JFK also banged Marilyn Monroe and told her,
You're not really First Lady material.
Less than 3 months before her death, a heavily intoxicated Monroe sang, "Happy birthday, Mr. President," and he joked,
I can now retire from politics after having had Happy Birthday sung to me in such a sweet, wholesome way.
Sarcastic. As an adolescent, JFK contracted a case of urethritis that would flare up through the rest of his life. Before the Bay of Pigs invasion, he called a doctor to examine a, quote, burning sensation and occasional mucus when he peed.
Ouch.
That was our president.
That was our... Yeah, I mean...
I wonder how many of those numerous women he was with ended up with some urethritis of their own.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Well, James, if you fiddle about too long on the executive branch, you're bound to fall out of the tree.
That's right. And if any of our listeners have been sleeping with the president recently, you might want to go down to the free clinic and get yourself checked out. Until next time, we'll be back with another episode of the Dead Presidents Podcast.